way to ask this. Player of the tournament so far. Your opinion.
He's
Let me
already
start with you.
gone.
He's
He's gone.
gone. He's gone. I agree. He's gone.
Labil Pogba, man. He's
Like
gone.
the,
La
the,
Pioche.
the, the only Muslim with a name from the Bible. Like, the dude. Listen, what I don't understand is the Paul Pogba slander for this particular tournament. You know the funny thing when they do well, it's not Pogba.
Yeah.
When
Yep.
something bad happens, it's always like I don't get it. The dude was the best player in their team. He was the best player in the tournament. The man cannot win. And I'm at this point, we just have to laugh at them. Let's just laugh because it's laughable at this point. It's laughable.
Yeah. And it's what's funny? I think I did message the group about this, and my brother finally, because I've been trying to push low key, I've been trying to push Pogba on Real Madrid because I'm like, this kid is wasting his time at United.
Yeah.
Why not go to Real Madrid? It's his dream. He's
Yeah.
more likely to win a trophy. It's sunshine. Obviously the Real Madrid fans are a bit tough on people, but at the end of the day, I think Pogba can survive in Real Madrid. He can survive in any team. My thing is, over my brother and his group, they're like, you know what? We've been talking about Modric, Cruz, what's the guy from Odegaard? They've been talking about all these players, and I've been like, guys, you guys are not listening. You guys are not watching Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
Those names, Modric is way past it. He should be gone by now. Like, he should be basically playing second fiddle to Pogba. Cruz cannot do what Pogba does. I don't care how much of a German machine he is. And Odegaard, come on, that's disrespectful. And who was the other guy? Is it Valverde? Was the other guy that they were saying, oh, Valverde, we're grooming Valverde? I'm like, guys, man. Like, come on. You guys do not know the talent that you're passing up on. So they have finally seen it. And they're like, you know what? Real Madrid has to get this kid. Because what he's doing, apart from Neymar, I'm not going to call Ronaldo and Messi into this because I think they're basically, their time is up. It's time for the new generation.
Yeah.
Apart from Neymar, I cannot think of any other footballer in world football that can do what Pogba does. The way he does it, how he does it. It's just out of this world.
Yeah.
He's the one player that I still feel that even if he was in the older generation, he will still be this good. He will still stand out.
Absolutely.
So I think Pogba has gone to the point whereby the pundits in England, the delusional United fans that just feel no one is ever good enough for the club, as long as you don't kiss the badge every day and just bend down and just take it. I think people have kind of set the narrative of Pogba, and there's nothing that he can do. Even if he went and the government of France and the EU had free lunches for kids like Rashford did, it's still not going to happen. Even if he solved the Israel-Palestinian, the Middle East problem,
yes,
it's still not going to be. It's still not going to be enough for Pogba.
And he hasn't found the cure for cancer too. So yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? So in all that, I just feel like it's unfortunate, but I think anybody who knows football and has watched football for a long time and is not just watching it for stats, you cannot deny his talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. Other shouts. Give me another shout for player of the tournament of the current teams existing. Oh, before we go on, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Footy Fantasy Show. This is the Euro update show. We're going to be talking about. We'll talk a little bit about some topics from the knockout. That was a chaotic knockout round. I think everybody can agree. That was very chaotic. It was so much fun. Yeah. Also, we'll also do a preview to the quarterfinals. If you're joining us, please like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, your enemy, Footy Fantasy, Touchline Talks, also J Socials. He has his YouTube channel. Share, like, subscribe. Let's dive in. Before we even talk about You know what?
The next best player?
Let's deviate a little bit. Let's deviate a little bit, but we got from best player, Jadon Sancho. I have to talk about Sancho. I have to.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that.
Sancho has been announced. I'm excited.
Wait, it has been announced?
It's official, man.
Okay.
By whom?
It hasn't been announced. Okay, but the deal has been agreed. Official.
Okay.
He just hasn't signed the contract.
He hasn't signed.
Pretty much about it.
The deal has been agreed.
See, I'm on the camp that says, look, until he holds up the shirt.
Oh, come on.
Until he's sitting on the touchline on the bench, or until he's getting substituted in the game, I don't believe it. Because this is a deal that is 13 months late, right? Almost like the Bruno Fernandes deal that was 7 months late. Okay? Yeah. And again, I think as United fans, we've been here so many times, especially over the last 8-9 years. We're not gonna get overly excited. It's a good player. I mean, before going into this transfer window, what did we say? We needed a right winger, we needed a DM, and we needed a center back. Yeah. That's 1 out of 3. Okay, so just because we have Sancho, we still need an alternative to the McFred experiment. I think that experiment should be done, right? We also need an alternative to the Maguire Lindelof pair. I just don't think they're good together. So I'm not getting carried away. Yes, it gives us more options because I think we're too left heavy. We attack always from the left. So maybe that gives another a more attacking latitude, and maybe it'll make Wan-Bissaka better. Maybe it'll make Wan-Bissaka a better right back because at least he'll see some activity on that right wing and he can overlap.
Okay. Welcome, our brother Ishata.
Yeah.
We're here talking about our boy Sancho. The deal has been agreed.
Yeah, man. Sancho,
I'm going to break rank a little bit. I know you want to be logical, Oga Kwame, and talk about what we need. I do not care about that. Sancho is my boy. I've been
let me tell you, you are going to be disappointed when Oli benches him for 1 month straight. You are going to say that. I was just waiting for my turn. I am not even kidding. Oli is the type of manager who will put Sancho at left back.
Hey, the further Southgate gets in this tournament with England, the more Ole has an opportunity to take notes. You see that double pivot? You see Sancho on the bench? Ole's taking notes. Ole's still figuring, you know what? The way Southgate's moving, he still has his McFred. That still looks viable, the McFred pivot.
Well, that's fair. I'm just saying I'm a long-term fanboy. I'm happy to get a player that I've liked for 3 years from his early days in Dortmund. I'm a big Sancho fanboy, so I'm happy he's United.
What do you think he will do? What do you think he will? How do you see him being used?
He'll play him on the right, and sometimes he'll play him on the left. He'll play him on the right mostly, but there are sometimes he'll play him on the left. If it's not working, like switch it. They'll switch up. Maybe Rashford will come to the right, or Greenwood play from the left. If Rashford is not playing too well, you can take him off now.
I don't know if it's just me, but I think Sancho is actually better on the left. Is it just me?
Yeah, he is. That's his position. He's on the left. He's a left winger, but
I think he just started playing there this season. I think a lot of people are misled about that with left winger thing. He just started playing on the left this season because and I'll explain why. Gio Reyna, Dortmund is my second team. That's what I'm saying. Is Gio Reyna, they got Gio Reyna this season. So Gio Reyna started playing. Sorry, last season. Gio Reyna, the US player, started playing from the right.
American kid.
Yeah, correct. So started playing from the right because Torgan Hazard had like a long-term injury. So the Sancho played from the left. Even when Torgan Hazard came back, he noticed also that Sancho was, playing better kind of from the left. And because of playing Sancho from the left causes double threat, right? He can assist, he can progress the ball, he can also cut in and score from his right foot. Yeah. On the other side, the only thing he can do is assist because his left is not a left footer. So that's why he likes playing from the outside.
You know what I would rather see? I would rather see Sancho on the left, Greenwood on the right, and whoever in the middle. I don't care if they bench Rashford. I really don't.
Well, that's what everyone's calling for, but we know Rashford's not getting benched. Rashford has to go probably half a season without scoring to get benched. by Ole. So.
Let's
I
do
still like
comments.
Rashford, man. It's a tough one. But I think
Let's
you know what? I think overall, like Cavani is not. I think people forget, and everyone is all saying, "Oh, Martial can leave," and blah blah blah. But people forget that Cavani is injury prone.
Yes,
he's not going to be fit for the whole season, and I think we keep forgetting this. And everyone keeps saying Cavani. We got Cavani.
no,
He's 36, 35-year-old guy. And we're trying to like put all our eggs on this one guy that is 35 and injury prone. It makes no sense to me, but I think Rashford will get enough chances to play as a number 9. And I think this would be the season that I think Mason would really start getting molded into that number 9 role this season.
You think so?
As well.
Okay.
I think, especially if Martial leaves. I think so.
Comments quickly. Great show, guys. Thank you for the comments. So remember, Mikel. I think this is a reference to.
That's what I was saying.
He doesn't want to get. He doesn't want to get excited.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then overnight,
Sir Alex and everything.
Yeah. Igwe in the building.
Hey, Daniel. Thanks for joining.
He was able to make it. Yeah.
Thanks. We're talking about Sancho a little bit, but I don't want us to deviate to United podcast.
Man's got excited.
Daniel is a huge Sancho fanboy, just like mine. We've been on this for like 2 or 3 years. Me and Daniel.
3 years now. It's been 3 years,
exactly.
bro. 3 years.
A long time coming. I've been looking at this boy, Sancho. Yeah. We need him. So someone asked me. I'm going to say this now. Someone asked me who I wanted as next signing. I said it as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Just to end this United discussion so we can talk about
Did you say Renato? Did you say Renato?
No, it's not really. You'll be shocked what I said. I said as a joke, but Josh already knows what I said. I'm going to repeat it live so that because I'm not running away from it. I said as a joke, but I was actually serious. Someone asked me, Yemi asked me, I thought I was going to join. I was going to answer, who do I want next? I told him Antonio Conte. That's what I said. I said it.
Oh, I agree with that.
That should be our next signing.
Oh, I'm cool.
Yes,
I'm cool with
Antonio
that.
Conte as manager. That should be our next signing. And I say this. I'm going to explain why I said this. It's going to sound weird. United is a team. I was looking at the squad this afternoon. I was just looking at the whole squad. United is a team that is actually created for the big moments. But we actually never win those big moments. Like it hit me when I was thinking about it. It's like we have players that can take over a game. Even Cavani at his old age, he seems to do in Copa America. Like this, we have match winners all from our midfield to our forward line, all over the place. Yeah. But once those big moments, the high leverage moments, once they come, we never ever win those high leverage moments. Just look back for the last 3 years on that social. And I'm not saying he's a bad coach. Everybody knows me. I'm very fair. I think he has done the job. I personally think Solskjaer has done the job he was here to do. Meaning he has stabilized the team, the players like each other. He has bought some good players in comparison to the last manager. That's the key part. In comparison to the last managers who their equipment wasn't so good, he has bought some good players. He has brought harmony to the club. See that next level, that next jump. I don't think he can. I might be wrong, though. Let me just put that out there because I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see the future. But that next level, I don't think he's the guy to take us that next level. And in football, right, every decision you make in football is based on managers being available. Antonio Conte is available now. If we miss, like this is a manager that we know is a serial winner. I know people are going to say football, forget style of play of football. Antonio Conte is going to fix our major problem. Our defensive.
It doesn't get worse than Ole's football, man. It doesn't get worse than Ole's football. So.
Defensive organization. That is the thing that I don't think there's any manager out there currently world football that's as good as maybe you say Tuchel when it comes to defensive organization. I do not think anybody as good as Antonio Conte.
The main problem is the Italians are not going to mess. They are not going to mess around with the nonsense structure we have at United.
It will not happen. I know.
The Italians don't take that nonsense.
I do. I agree. I know
he's gonna Conte is going to come in, and the next day you see him on Sky Sports literally grabbing Woodward by the neck. They don't play. They don't play.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, but it just hit me.
Yeah.
You know, that's so let's go back. Let's come back to Euros. Let's come back to Euros.
Yeah.
Back to the Euros. So I asked the question, out of the teams left, let me start with Itata. Which player do you think has a big shot currently for player of the tournament?
My player of the tournament is out right now.
That's what
But Paul Pogba has been
Pogba.
He's been golden in this tournament. Actually, he's produced some pass that I've never seen him do. Not in football, but there is one. The one he gave, I think
Against Germany?
Benzema.
The one he gave Benzema.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then there was one nonchalant outside of the foot pass in the last game. You know, it was
on the ground.
Man,
yeah.
No, he floated it.
Out of his mind.
There was so many in that game.
The pass was the beauty of that pass was when he played the pass, the crowd was like, wow. But the wow was the entire time the ball was in the air. So it was just a perfect image. It was a perfect image. It was like, wow. And then the ball landed. I was like, man, this guy is a joke. You know. But honestly, I think at this point, it may likely go to a top scorer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think they would give it to a top scorer because maybe that's all I can see, because Pogba was head and shoulders above everybody in the tournament. He really played well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I'll say Patrick Schick. That's the best I can think of, and you're right because of goals.
I was gonna mention.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe Schick.
I was thinking Spinazzola. I think it's Spinazzola
too.
Yeah.
I've never seen that kind of impact on the left. Like, he's a left back, and the way he bumps,
he's right-footed.
He's right-footed. He's a left back. He's right-footed. He bumps forward, and he has no problem using his weaker foot either. Like, it's crazy.
Is that what they're doing to the right winger too? The right winger is left-footed, right? In Italy.
Berardi is left-footed, but Spinazzola plays like left wing back.
Yeah.
So it's just
it's weird. It's weird.
You know the Italians love to do that. Italians love to do that. I think. This was actually wingers. I think AC Milan and Barcelona, when Romario was there, the Champions League final, I think Milan won by 4 goals or so.
Yeah.
Where they switched, Donadoni went to the left wing, Savicevic went to the right wing, and they threw everything off.
Yeah.
So the Italians love to do that.
So let's talk a little bit about the French collapse, and I think I'll start with Daniel. And when I say the collapse, I'm saying everything that's happened after, because that's one of the news that's come out now. Like, who, if you have to pinpoint one person quickly, who do you think is to blame?
Rabiot.
Okay.
Rabiot. Like, he's been a problem throughout his entire career. Him and his mother, like, they've been, every club that he's been at, there's been issues, and it kind of gives, I think, for me, like, it gives more of a perspective as to why he's always in the team. Even though, like, let's be frank, he's not a good player. Like, there are so many, like, you call 10, 20, maybe even 30 midfielders, French midfielders, better than Rabiot. So, like, it's very interesting to see, like, all this play out, because, like, why should Rabiot, like, who is Rabiot, like, that his mother is having so much of an influence to talk about Mbappe and Pogba and all these players? Like, it doesn't make sense. So, I mean, clearly, like I said earlier, like, I mean, the French, when they go all out with their drama, like, they go all out. We've seen it in, like, even from, like, watching maybe like the Anelka documentary or even like the experience of the 2010 World Cup. Like, it's all messy, but it's I feel like if you had to put the blame on, it's Rabiot.
That's Rabiot. But I guess the angle I also want to look at now, maybe I'll let somebody else, Josh, talk about this. The angle I want to look at is the whole Mbappe, Giroud, like drama happened halfway through the tournament. Like, do you think that had any effect on like the team morale? You know, because they did. I don't want to start making hot takes after they've lost, right? Because I I chose them my
Yeah.
bracket to win everything, right? But now, just in hindsight, this hindsight analysis, do you think any of those things had any effect with their fluidity? Because going forward, they look kind of broken, right? They look
Yeah.
broken going forward this time around compared to the World Cup. They looked broken. So that's the one thing I'm thinking. What are your thoughts?
I think it's kind of I feel it's a mix, right? And I think when when Benzema got called onto the team, I was a little concerned. Obviously, I was happy that Uncle Ben's showed up, but I figured would that destabilize the partnership that Mbappe and Griezmann and the whole like team that back in 2018. But I think Benzema is such a world class striker that I figured at the end of the day, like when he's playing, I think everyone should just kind of figure out how to play with him on there. I think Mbappe, this was, I feel it was more, I feel like I don't want to blame it on Mbappe. I don't want to blame it on him because in that game, when France went behind, Pogba stepped up his game. Griezmann stepped up his game as well. Benzema came in with the 2 goals. So everybody around stepped up their game, except Mbappe could not get to that next gear. So I want to kind of give him, whereby this is his learning curve, because he's had such an amazing story so far. A kid at 18, the youngest player to score in the World Cup, to win the World Cup. Everything was just check mark after check mark.
It was too perfect,
so at
right?
some point, yeah, it's too perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, it's too perfect. It's, I feel this, and there's so much pressure. Even before the tournament, even though now we look back and we see what Pogba did, is I always found it so strange how it was Mbappe. I'm like, guys, like, over in the World Cup, like Pogba was also like one of the best players in the French team in the World Cup. Griezmann was one of their best players. I'm like, Giroud was also one of their best players. His off the ball movement. I just didn't find it right. That team is so studded that to focus on one player, I just feel like it just did not make sense. And I think people were just riding on the hype. And I think the hype got to Mbappe, and then I think the third point I was going to make is I've noticed that for PSG with Mbappe and Neymar. And this is why I just feel that team can go far, because there's so many times you're watching PSG and when Mbappe could have just made it simple pass, doesn't make the pass. Neymar, the same thing. And it's that whole wanting to go for the glory. I don't know if it's them actually wanting to go for the glory or they feel they have to carry the team all the time. And it's knowing when to realize you're not in PSG. You have stars around you. You don't have Moise Kean next to you. You have Benzema next to you. And I feel like it's kind of like, it kind of reminded me of Rashford, in this tournament, always trying to go through 5 players, making the wrong decisions. So for me, I think overall, I don't want to blame it on one player because it's a team sport. I think the team overall is to blame. Pogba lost the ball, which was unfortunate, but that's why you have a team. What was Conte? Conte did not follow his man. Kimpembe did not. I don't know what Kimpembe was doing, going the opposite way.
I didn't know why he slid it there. There was no need to slide it there.
It was just poor. I think Kimpembe is all right, but it was just poor overall. And it's the same thing that United fans do for Pogba. He loses the ball in the middle of the field, and they blame him when you have a pivot of McFred and a whole defensive line. What is the point of having a pivot and a defensive line if your creative midfielder loses the ball? So for me, I think the whole thing was just, but you can't crucify Pogba because he did everything he possibly could do to rectify that mistake. But the rest of the team was just not on the same wavelength. So overall, I don't want to pin it all on Mbappe. I just think Mbappe is going to learn from this. He's a talented player. And I think this happened. It's unfortunate that it happened in the Euros at the knockout stage. But I think this is a massive learning curve for his career.
Sorry, do you think he's going to stay at PSG?
I hope he doesn't. I hope
Yeah,
he
me too.
doesn't, but I think he
Me too.
will stay till. I think
too.
he'll run his contract out at
Yeah.
PSG.
Yeah.
So because he has one more year left.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
you're
think he'll
left.
run it out.
I think he needs to move because
Yeah.
for me, it's one of those things where, like you said, he had like such a quick, ascendance to the top, and he's only like what 23, 22. I don't, he's still pretty young. So, like when you compare like his idol, for instance, like Ronaldo's come up, he went from Sporting, tricky start at United for first season, and then 4 more years of like really good build. Like there's an actual trajectory. Like this guy just went, Monaco, bam, PSG, World Cup, like all these things, and it's like he didn't have a chance to have a taste of what that struggle is like. Not to say he had it easy, because obviously he's a remarkable player, but like that trajectory is just So I think he has to move, because it's just one of those. You stay at PSG, okay, you win a title. Win multiple titles. Nothing is challenging. No one's really challenging you. You're playing next to Neymar. You can waste chances all you want, because you're always going to create more. And then there's the league on tax, because compare them to the rest of the league, and you see like there's no competition. But I think he should actually. If he runs down his contract, move to a different club.
Yeah,
that should be what he should do, I think.
Let me go to the angle, and I'm going to Oga Kwame, because you love talking about coaches, Oga Kwame. Yeah, the man who likes talking about coaches.
Another guy.
So let's drag Deschamps into this now. What are your thoughts
and
about?
I was about to. I was literally about to. But before we go there, let's just agree and accept that no team has a divine right to win any football game, especially in international competitions like this. The only reason we care about the French inquest is because the French team and the country of France, the people themselves, there's this French pride that they carry with themselves, the Parisian pride. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to behold, and the only reason we care about them is because they make a lot of noise. Okay, so I think for all I care, they need to just take the L and go back home. But talking about who's to blame, what I looked at that starting 11, and I'm like, why is Adrien Rabiot playing left wing back? Why? I have never seen him play that position. I don't know what he showed Deschamps in training to make the coach think he can play that position. Why are those balls coming into the box like that from Rabiot's angle? I understand. I think Lucas Digne was maybe injured, so he couldn't play. But Lucas Hernandez, I think he was available. Why is he not playing people in their natural position? Let's also not forget that this is the first time we've had Blaise Matuidi not be in the French squad for international competitions in more than 10 years, I think. Right. So there is I blame Deschamps. I blame Deschamps for the way he set up that team. They didn't need to play 3 at the back. They didn't need to do that, because what that did was, I think it confused all 3 center backs were confused. Longley, I don't even know what Longley was doing in that game. Right. Even though Pogba lost the ball in the midfield, they still had a long way to go before they scored. Right? They had a long way to go before they scored, and Kimpembe didn't have to commit like that. And so I'm blaming the coach. I'm blaming his system. And that 3 at the back, that was the Swiss ticket to the quarterfinal.
I agree, and it just reminded me of what Pep did, not Champions League final, because I think Chelsea is Chelsea, so Chelsea is a big side. I can understand why he adjusts to that. What Pep did the season before against Lyon.
Against Lyon?
Yeah. Why are you playing the back 3 against Switzerland? That's the first question I have. Second question I have, okay, if you want to be a back 3, Longley, is the coach not scouting his players? Well, didn't see what Longley was doing this season in Barcelona? I watched La Liga.
Yeah. Yeah.
terrible in the back three. He was costing them games. Like he would make howlers, and he was playing the same back three. Like I was like, what? What is this?
It's like the boy starting Stecklenburg for like making Stecklenburg his tournament keeper. Like that guy hasn't played club football like consistent club football like 3 years.
It's like, what are you doing? So that I agree. Itata, any thoughts before we move on?
Well, I don't know if anyone would agree with me on this. Even though France has seen considerable success in recent history, I don't know if anyone has picked this up. They still haven't played to their potential. It is a case of maybe over concentration of talent that gives them that push. They haven't played well, and they haven't played as a team. It's just there's so much talent on the team. It's inevitable they have to win games. You understand? And then there is the angle of psychology where I think Jay pointed it out that no team is destined to win. You know, it's almost like this case of royalty where they say you are royalty by divine right. That's the greatest scam in the history of humankind.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, it's almost the same thing like as this, where psychologically France go into the tournament as favorite, which worked heavily against them. The game they lost to the better side in the football game. Switzerland played as a team. France played as 11 individuals that are incredibly gifted. That's what I saw. The case of Benzema, I think Benzema is. I made a joke that if Benzema played in the World Cup in 2018, they would have given France, the French team, 2 trophies. I know they won the World Cup bet.
Yeah.
Benzema is inevitable. You have to add him he's one of the best strikers of course, in modern times, he's at least in the top 5. He's an all-round good footballer, and of course, he takes his chances.
Yeah.
So I think it was partly psychological, and the fact that France have been riding on concentration of talent for so long. That was a reality check they had to wake up. If they met, I don't know which other team who is actually playing as a team. I think any team playing as a team would still beat France on a good day.
Czech Republic.
That's
Denmark.
The pieces are okay, but I think the case for France was psychological, and of course they've not played to their potential still, even though they're world champion. We know what it's like. Every real true football fan knows what France can possibly produce, and they're yet to produce it.
And just to quickly add to that, I think also teams like France, where you beat them because they always start off slow, and you have to come with intensity. And when you looked at how Switzerland played, it was just nonstop. They were not giving the French players time on the ball. And I think that's the only way to beat somebody who is way better than you is just pressure them every single moment that you get that chance. And over that counter, like how fast they scored that goal from when Pogba lost the ball to it's just ridiculous how fast that ball went through. So but you got to give, at the end of the day, as much as we can say France was, it's hard because you can't even say France was poor. Yeah, they were poor in the first half, but they played some really good football in 20 minutes to go 3 goals up. And then even after that, even though after Switzerland equalized, they kept, like, that could have been 5 goals that Mbappe fluffed. You know what I mean? So it's one of those about, it's hard to say that they didn't deserve to go through, but you still got to, give your hat up for Switzerland. They got the job done.
I think it's just okay to accept that you can play a good game of football and still lose.
Not win. Yeah,
that's fine. That is fine.
I agree. So let's not let the fact that Switzerland was a very good team, and before we go into the next topic, let's give them some credit too. It was more also Switzerland did very well. They were very organized. France, of course, had the more superior talent, but Switzerland were very, very organized, and they went at the throat of France. this is a good segue. Best game of the round of 16. I think we just make suggestions. We don't have to we don't have to dwell too much on this one because we have a couple of other topics to talk about. For me, I think it was the Croatia Spain game. That was chaos at its finest, in my opinion. I mean, what was that?
Loved it.
That game just like ebbed and flowed, looked like Spain was running with it. Then Croatia came back. It was just 5-3. For me, that game was ridiculous, and I enjoyed how much it just ebbed and flowed. Anybody has another shout apart from that?
Italy, Austria.
Yeah, that was
really?
another good game.
Oh my God, that game was ridiculous. It was. You know what? But for me, my own game of the tournament, of the round, Ukraine,
Sweden.
That game, because it was the last game of the round of 16. I don't think a lot of people paid attention.
Yeah, people were paying attention
already. We're just waiting on who's gonna make up the last person for the. It was
It had everything. It had everything.
Well, I did not watch that game.
Okay, what do you guys think about the red card that Sweden got? I think it was unfair. I don't think it was a red card.
I think you have to give those.
Red?
Yeah, you have to. You have to give those. Like,
okay,
it's the modern game.
When I was growing up, they taught me that red cards for you to give a red card, there must be some kind of malice behind the tackle.
Yeah, you had to be an unbeliever.
Hey, Tommy, man, we're talking about modern football. Modern football is like basketball. You get touched, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Remember back in the day, players would be bleeding. His shorts were Ray Paulo, or like his shorts were always dirty. I know the pitch was different back then. Like now, I remember like getting a penalty back in the day was like, oh my goodness, you got a penalty. Now it's just like, just giving penalties like you're giving water. It's crazy.
Fall down like you got shot.
Yeah. Even red card. I don't know which of you have seen Clash of the Titans. Red card, if you don't produce the head of Medusa, you're not getting a red card.
Right.
Okay, that's a good one. Now let's go straight into England. That's why the topic is Southgate or Grealish. Is it Southgate or is it Grealish and Vibe? A lot of critics of Southgate on this pod. I would not name names, but I know there are a lot of them. But before I give everybody the floor, let me talk about the game. And let's talk about Southgate. So I was talking to somebody about Southgate versus what's his name? Deschamps. And I was talking of the difference I'm seeing and why I think Southgate deserves a lot of credit. It's the principle. Benitez, you said, is a lot back then. It's called the short blanket, right? Which is what tournament football most tournament teams, right? They are usually defensive teams. The conservative teams in recent history are the ones that win. Even France in 2018, they were conservative, right? So the short blanket theory is just it's very simple. It's pretty much, which part of your body are you going to let be cold? Like you have a short blanket, if you cover your legs, of course, your head is going to be cold. If you do the reverse, your leg. And that is the principle of what Southgate is doing, right? What is the weakest part of his team? This is defense, right? So he's doubling up. He's playing two DMs, pivots. He's playing back three, like in the last game against Germany, because he knows that he has good attacking talent that eventually, if whether on the bench or starting lineup, you can bring them in as closers, because that's what's kind of using Grealish. Using Grealish as using a basketball term. Grealish is like the closer. It brings him in to come and close the game, which it's working. It's working. They've not conceded a single goal all tournament. You can say, Croatia is not that good of a team. Croatia scored 3 against Spain. That's the Croatia team. They scored 3 against Spain. So they played Germany. That's every game. Germany put 4 past Portugal. Germany scored against them. So I think there's a lot of credit for that, because unlike Deschamps, now let me go to Deschamps now quickly. He's trying to apply the same short blanket thing. The problem is Southgate's defensive organization, from the midfield, the positioning, the way he's using his inverted wingers to drag midfielders so that there's space for Luke Shaw or Trippier to overlap. The structure of the pressing and the defensive shape is way better than France. Deschamps is trying to do the same thing. Let me just replicate the World Cup. What Deschamps is missing, and I'm sure he probably knows, but just expects, is the fact that Rabiot is no Matuidi. It's clear. It's no Matuidi. It's not even half the player Matuidi was. And that was Matuidi is like pretty much having like another Kante. Imagine having two Kantes in the midfield. that's like 4 players in the midfield. The amount of glass they can cover. Right?
That's true.
Umtiti wasn't exceptional, but Umtiti at that time I think is better than Kipembe for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah. Before he got that knee injury and went off, Umtiti back then was really good. So that idea of just having players behind the ball without organization, defensive structure, positional structure, they exposed France, but England so far has looked very, very good. So because of that, I think Southgate deserves a lot of credit because this is tournament football. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the W. At the end, that's what I'm at. About getting W, So I'll let one of the biggest critics of Southgate take the floor. I know one of them, between one of them, they criticize Southgate a lot. But any of you can take it from here.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I will agree with you to the extent that Southgate came into that game knowing and respecting his opponent. Right. The difference between Southgate and Deschamps is that Deschamps did not have to go in that game with 3 at the back. It was Switzerland, with all due respect, right? It was Switzerland. And even when he did, he had the wrong personnel in certain positions, right? But with Southgate, he knew how Germany was going to set up, and he pretty much matched them. 3 at the back, pivots, and it was just, it was pretty much what do you call it, tug and push until you get to 60 minutes into the game, 25, 30 minutes left, you bring on your magician, Jack Grealish, okay? So I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit knowing when to put in a player like Jack Grealish, knowing how to approach a team like Germany, because the German team was going to dominate that game from their midfield. That was it. You saw the finishing. It was dead. So the only success they were going to have was in the midfield. And Southgate did a great job matching that midfield for as long as he could, and then bringing on the talent. Okay, so I give him credit for that. The difference between him and Oli would have never brought on Grealish. Oli would have never brought on Grealish. Oli would have waited until the 115th minute.
The man is in Norway, spending time with family. Why are you throwing shots at him right now? Let him enjoy. Let him enjoy his holiday for once.
Do you know why Norway is not in the Euros? Because of Oli. But I think I agree with you. He approached the game really well. He made his subs at the right time, and he also when we met the last time, I said that I was not confident in the ability of Germany to finish their dinner, and that's eventually what I think got England over the line. Because let's not get it twisted. Had Muller finished that chance, would have been 1-1, and I think
different game.
You're even going too far. You're going too far. Yeah. We talk about okay. So obviously, I expressed my disgust at the starting, at the lineup or whatever. But like Kwame said, it literally it's a game of those 2 moments. Think about in the first half, right? In the first 15, 20 minutes, Declan Rice gets a yellow that could have easily been a red. And Timo Werner doesn't dink it over Pickford. Werner scores that chance, entire game plan's out the window. Entire game plan's out the window. You're playing we're talking about tournament football. But then why are you treating literally your best player? Why are you bringing him out to close the game like you're playing a 38-game season? If you're playing, you should want to start your best players. And we're talking about Grealish like he was this secret weapon. The entire nation literally bullied the manager to get Grealish in the squad.
Right.
That's true.
So
right.
yeah, like from an emotional standpoint, it's nice, the whole Southgate and history of Germany, whatever. But I'm telling you, I know, like it's nice, and yeah, give him credit for he won the game, but like at the end of the day, man, I still think jury's still out. Like when they get to the next stage, or a team, a proper team, that's when we'll see what this guy is really about. Because if you look at his track record, even in the World Cup, man, like look at the pretty much free ride to the semis, and then James gets injured for Colombia or whatever, they win, and then they play Belgium, and then they throw in, and then they act like, oh, it's not a serious game, so they throw in random players, so you can't really judge their performance against Belgium, and then look at how they're on the easier side of the bracket. We'll see. I mean, like you guys said, like it's all tournament football, right? It's about the results, but just like a lot of other countries, like they're not playing to their full potential. Like there is clearly so much more that this England team can give, and it's not happening right now. So like congrats to him for winning, but I'm still not convinced.
But
I agree with you.
Shout out to Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford played a good game.
He's been decent.
He always does well for England,
Yeah.
And
he goes to Everton
good. 4 clean sheets, right? Like that's the only team that hasn't conceded a goal in the tournament. So you gotta give some props to them.
Yeah. Before I pass it on to Tata, I agree with one part that you talked about, Daniel. The true test will happen. Let's see when it happens when they get pegged back. Let's see what happens. They go 1-0 down because that's a position they've never been before. Let's see what he does then. Is he going to take the risk? Is he going to adjust? And will the players be able to adjust to, we have this defensive mindset, counter-attack, but now, we are pegged back. Oh, shit, how do we react? What do we do? How does it affect the game from the bench? I agree, that's true. To be honest, against Ukraine, I'm almost hoping that Ukraine scores first, just because I want to see what he does. Ukraine has scored now.
Exactly.
Let's
and the way Ukraine play, they don't respect anybody. Like they're gonna go for it.
Yeah,
they're gonna go for it. So we'll see.
Yeah,
they're following their manager, Shevchenko. Any thoughts, Tata?
Well, I still think I'm leaning towards what Daniel said. I think I give him credit. It's not a mistake to play an entire tournament up to this stage and not concede a goal. I think the last time I saw something like that was in 2002, where Cameroon played the entire Cup of Nations and not concede a goal in open play.
Oh wow!
I've never seen anything. Yeah, in Mali in 2002, Cameroon did not concede a goal. That's the height of the peak of their powers. And for England, they didn't concede a goal throughout the tournament.
Oh, wow. Was that Rigobert Song and them?
Yeah, it was Song.
Wasn't the tournament that JJ Okocha had was like play of the tournament? So that's the one in Mali, right?
In Mali in 2000. I think
early 2000s.
Eto'o may have been player of the tournament. I can't really remember. Okay. But I know Cameroon did not concede a single goal throughout the tournament.
Wow.
This is where you get the OG vibes. That's an OG
This guy was talking about the finals of Italy with Baggio. I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm like, okay, we're going.
Whenever he tapped the talk, I just take out pen and paper.
You got to take down notes.
Go on, sir.
So I mean, it's huge to play. I know luck, and you can carve out your luck with what you do, but we can't just overlook the fact that England hasn't conceded a goal. I think it's remarkable, but I also think, like Daniel has said, that might not be sustainable. I'll be surprised if England win this tournament. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, and Ukraine. Let's say the way we say the tournament just started. The tournament has actually started because group stages, things happen. But from the round of 16, the tournament started. Now quarterfinals. It's getting there, and I don't see this being I don't see this being sustainable for England. They do have the pieces to win the tournament. I have to be honest. I know I joke about the England thing, and I diss them about 66 all the time.
You have a good
but
team.
They actually do have the pieces this time. they have the pieces, but the pattern of play and this, and I don't even think England need to play a double pivot. They don't need to.
No, they don't.
With the pieces they have, they really don't need to. But
No.
it's working. I just don't see it winning this tournament. I'll be surprised if England win the tournament. I don't think it's sustainable.
Declan Rice and
Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips.
I agree that it's not sustainable. And again, I have to go back and pull from my United experience with all the PTS.
This is tournament football.
No. Because at the end of the day, hold on. Because at the end of the day, I have to speak from what I've seen and what I've experienced and what I've known. I've seen this kind of football. I've seen this kind of football not end well. It is not sustainable for you to.
You're not lying.
End well too, though. We've seen it end well.
It is
in the last Euros against Portugal. We've seen it end well. Greece won the tournament playing like this. I'm just saying, for devil's advocate, I'm just saying, Portugal won the tournament playing like this.
Yeah, but no, the case of Greece is different. Greece were actually a well-drilled team. They played it intentionally. It was their system. Otto Rehagel made sure they played that way. And the only team that plays that kind of, it was sort of like a diluted form of Catenaccio that the Italians play.
Yeah.
But he perfected it because every piece they played that system, but Greece almost lost the game. I don't know who they played. They almost lost, but it's something they did intentional, and the coach made sure they did it to the script.
They lost the game in group stages. I remember. They lost to Portugal in group stages, Greece. But then they beat Portugal in the final.
They beat Portugal twice.
Yeah.
They beat Portugal.
No, they lost it. Oh, I thought they lost to them.
They beat Portugal in the opening game and in the final. Yeah, I remember. They beat Portugal twice. So the case of Greece is different.
But Portugal did it in 2016. The current champions. This is how they played. Everybody's comparing.
The same coach, the exact same coach too.
Yeah,
that final was by heart. It's passion and desire that won.
When we talk about when you get to the final,
those are just the moments, right? Those are just moments because it's like you said, it's tournament footy. Like game plans go out in moments like that. Game plans go out the window. Like Ronaldo is out of the final. It becomes an emotional thing. Like the French players are like,
Portugal didn't play well. Let's be honest. They did not play well.
They did not play. They
didn't.
But it's not because they didn't want to not play well. They were using all they had.
They actually used all they had.
I was responding to what you said wasn't sustainable. What England is doing. I'm just saying we see a replica of this. Portugal.
What I mean by it's not sustainable is this. What I'm saying, England have more weapons than they deploy.
Yep.
Right.
Portugal did it out of necessity. That's all they had.
Exactly. Portugal had a knife and a stick, right? And they deployed everything, and it just happened to work. Okay.
So similar to
that's
go ahead.
Fair.
Yeah. So with Portugal going into that tournament, they knew what they had, right, and they worked with it. England are going into this tournament almost being tentative, right, and then having a plan of, okay, when it gets to this point, we'll deploy our weapons. You can't always do that because now you're betting on your ability to switch it on.
Yeah.
It just don't happen like that.
Very risky.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to quickly add to Kwame's point or the general point. I think it's kind of like when we looked at, not to bring it back to Manchester United, but there were so many games. There were so many games in the season that I think it was the game against was it Brighton? And they had this new striker that they got.
West Brom. West Brom. It's West Brom.
West Brom.
That's the exact same game.
Striker could have had a hat trick in the first 15 minutes of the game. He could have easily had a hat trick by the first half.
Yeah.
But because you're playing teams that are not finishing, it just keeps giving you more chances to go up front. When you look at England yesterday, it was the same thing. Germany kept fluffing their chances. And then England, finally, what's his name, scored the first goal in Sterling. And then that kind of just ignited that belief, right? So that's what we're saying. It can go both ways. And I think the most frustrating part about coaches like Southgate, Ole, and whoever you want to add into that group is what's so unfortunate is they have talents on their teams.
Yeah.
So because of that, they're able to bypass all these little things. And then people are so delusional that they don't get that it's not the coach. It's the players that are pulling this coach to making this coach look better. You look like Arteta at Arsenal. Arteta is probably a better coach than Ole and Southgate put together, but he just doesn't have the squad. So everyone can laugh at him and say, oh, Arteta is garbage, Arteta is this, and give Ole or Southgate all the praise because they just don't. The squads are totally different. Their squads are totally different. Like I feel if you gave Southgate or Ole that Arsenal squad, he's not finishing second in the league, and he's probably not making it to the semis. So that was kind of what I wanted to add to the Kwame point about.
Okay. So that's kind of the preview for England.
Sorry, guys, I also got to head out. I apologize.
Okay. No problem, man.
Okay.
Take care, man.
Yeah, it's really been fun, guys. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I'll see you guys in the next chat.
Yep.
All right, no problem.
Sounds good.
We'll have one after the quarterfinals. So that's kind of England Ukraine preview, I guess. So who are you guys picking? England or Ukraine? Daniel, let me start with you.
I'm neutral, honestly. Like I'm a Southgate critic, but like that doesn't mean I hate the team. Like the players from my club are in that team, so obviously I'd be backing them and stuff. But I'm actually completely neutral for this game. I want to see how it plays out. My money is still on Italy winning the whole thing. I've been saying it's coming Rome. No, it's coming home. So, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's coming Rome. It's coming Rome.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you should have that. In case Italy wins,
it's coming Rome. Yeah.
You should do that.
That's true.
So you say you don't have any thoughts on who's going to win? Just start.
I just want to enjoy. I just want to enjoy the game. Honestly, honestly, I want chaos. Like you said, I want Ukraine to score first. Like I would love Ukraine to score first. See how that plays out. Like if you can give me another 5-4, 5-5, 6, I don't care. Like I just want this tournament football is just so captivating. It's so exciting. Just
everything ends here.
Yeah.
It's out. England, Ukraine.
If you guys remember, I did pick Ukraine to be the dark horse because I think my reason was.
I remember that.
Yeah. My reason was that they all play in that league and we don't have a clue. You understand? They all play. They're all home based, right. And we don't have a clue. So when they line up 11 of them, you kind of confused. I think that plays to their advantage, to be honest. England have the pieces to win. I think it's a question of if they want to win that game. But if I have to pick, I think just looking at the personnel, England should beat Ukraine. But we know how football has been in these Euros, And of course, you know what it means when I predict it never goes right. You've seen what the...
What are your brackets looking like right now? What are your brackets looking like?
You know what? I joked about it. So in Boardmas, it's bracket off. So I already had the bracket off. I already had bracket off.
Oh my God, that's how you're wilding. What are you talking about? I think I'm going to use that. I'll use that for the next podcast. That's what I'll call it Boardmas.
Bracket off.
Boardmas.
Oh my goodness. So let's go to the other game, the final game. And we'll end there. I just want to make this a short episode.
Yeah.
The game of the round, right? We cannot accept that. Belgium, Italy.
Belgium, Italy.
Yeah. In my opinion, if KDB, because I think he's injured for this game.
He's not playing yet. I think he's going to be out. He's
out?
Yeah. Well, they're saying, I mean, he's tentative, but I know Fake Hazard is definitely out.
It's a fake hazard.
washed guy. Yeah, he's out.
The big bomb. That's what it's called. The
big bomb. I mean, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely because Courtois said that it would take a miracle. So I don't see that happening.
Oh wow.
And KDB, I don't know. KDB has not been a player to risk it throughout his career. So I don't think guys should expect him to start. And
so that means we'll see Tielemans and then Dunker back in the midfield.
Probably.
Yeah. That's just because of those two misses. In my opinion, I'm tilting towards if they were there, I still feel it was going to be.
I'd still go with Italy. With
those two guys missing now, I think I'm leaning towards Italy now because KDB, you could tell immediately he came out against the game against Portugal. My goodness, the momentum swung. I think Portugal made some changes, to be fair.
Yeah.
But even like the momentum swung so much that Belgium they were just hanging on for their dear life. They had no control of that midfield anymore. It was just pressure after pressure, and they would do the long ball to Lukaku. He hold it for a little bit, the ball comes back again. So yeah. Without those two guys.
Also, Lukaku in a big game, from history, I know it doesn't always work out.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't know if it does. It does not work out.
No.
Lukaku in a big game, being the main guy in a big game. I'm just speaking from history. I'm not a hater or anything. I'm just laying out the facts.
I'm not agree.
We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Lukaku, Milan derby against Juve. These were big game, and he dominated and he scored and he took Inter Milan to the Serie A title. So I don't agree. Let's not do that. Big games. Let's not do that.
Also, though, let's look at Italy's strong points, how they attack. Spinazzola on that left, I fancy him
against
money against
Vermaelen. Either like
right.
These guys are old.
You go on the right, Berardi. I think Berardi. Even if you remove Berardi, you bring in Chiesa. Chiesa will rip, any of those Belgian center backs to pieces. So I'm putting even before when we did the last podcast, I picked Italy to beat Portugal because I thought Portugal was obviously going to go through. So now I still pick Italy to beat Belgium.
I'm proud of myself. I did too. I think I did that too. I did that. I'm looking at it.
So I'm going to stick with Italy.
Yeah. I'd like to see Mancini start Chiesa though. I'd like to see him start Chiesa.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I want to see him start.
Yeah.
Because the kid is good, and honestly, like
look at that goal against Austria, bro.
So good.
Oh,
and I touted him as one of the ones to watch.
You did.
Yeah, you did in the tournament. Even Billy Gilmore, like all these kids, Chiesa is so good. He's so good, man. He it's one of those things, like you said, like the Italians have a code, right? They have there's levels to this shit. Like
exactly.
he's not gonna demand that I should be starting or he knows his place, that kind of thing. And it's good. It's great for them because they work they play as a team. They play as a unit. And like even the last game, like dragging it all the way to who did they play in the last game?
Austria,
like dragging it all the way, all the way to extra time. Didn't need to happen because they're creating so many chances. They just weren't finishing it. So I feel like it's one of those because he has a system, right? And when Mancini switches, when he makes subs, he doesn't change the system. He just rotates the players.
He just changes personnel.
He just changes personnel. So it's one of those things where it's about who plays in that particular position, like who's who's going to be more lethal. And I think Berardi hasn't really the past two games. It's been
I don't see Lukaku being able to bully Chiellini. I mean, not Chiellini. I think Chiellini. Bonucci. I don't see him bullying Bonucci or Acerbi. Nah, I don't see him doing that. Those guys are solid. They're rocks.
I actually see him bullying the Italian because Bonucci's strong point is his passing and positioning. The physical guy is Chiellini, and I'm not sure he's going to play. I actually would have been more comfortable into this game if the Belgian team were complete and ready to fire. Because Italy are better when they play under adversity. They're superb.
The underdogs, right?
Yeah. When they play as underdogs, they're usually brilliant. They almost always come out tops.
Mm.
So it's a tricky one for me now, knowing that the key players for Belgium are not going to play.
Mm.
And I don't know
that's an interesting angle, yeah.
if Chiellini does not play, it's a problem. I think the Lukaku's physicality might be a little bit too much.
For
The
Bonucci?
only way, yeah, Bonucci is not as physical as you think. Chiellini is.
But he's intelligent, though.
Yeah, he is intelligent, but his strongest point is positioning and passing. That's his strongest point. So what happens is, as a unit, Chiellini and Bonucci are a unit.
Yeah.
Even at 70, they will still be the best pair in football because they're a unit. One needs the other. Chiellini can jump mid-air, elbow. He's the one with the dark arts, and Bonucci is more like Rio Ferdinand. Interceptions, long passes, positioning. He plays. Follow the shadow type thing.
Mm.
But I'm honestly, I'm kind of uncomfortable that Belgium is depleted.
So are you picking Belgium?
It's a tough one.
So this is
I'm
not
actually,
bracket. Just be clear, bracket is set already.
This is
So
not for the bracket.
yeah. The bracket is set, but I would pick Italy, but I'm saying if Belgium comes out tops, I won't be surprised. But I pick Italy.
That's a fair
I won't be
point.
surprised just because they are not in full power. Italy love when they're playing against a complete team that everyone favors.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they excel.
That's a fair point. That's Italy. So quickly, just say we don't need to analyze Spain, Switzerland, Itata.
Spain.
Okay. Spain. Okay, Kwame.
Not for the bracket, right?
Yeah.
The bracket
Why
is
is everyone scared of the brackets?
I'll do Spain. I'll go Spain. I'll go Spain.
Okay. The last game was who's the last game? Czech and Denmark.
Czech Republic.
That game is
Denmark,
hard.
Czech.
It's so
That
hard to
one's
believe.
going to be hard.
That's going to be a fun game.
I'm going
Denmark.
Game.
I'm going Denmark for that one.
I'm going Denmark as well.
Nobody going Czech because I want to go Denmark too.
You know what? I'll go Czech just to go the other way. Let's
do the other way.
Let's keep the fun.
Well, you remember what you said about your predictions.
I'll go the other way. Yeah, I'll pick Czech.
Okay. You do Czech. Okay. I think we've come to the end of the pod. We'll do another one again, possibly Sunday after the games or Saturday after the games, because I know the quarterfinals is Friday and Saturday, so we'll probably we'll be back here either Saturday or Sunday. We'll decide whichever works best for everybody. I know that's like July 4th weekend, so everybody the barbecue will be everywhere. We'll be outside,
get
in the sun, doing some one or two things outside.
It's too hot outside. It's way too hot outside. It's too hot outside.
We'll be back.
Everyone.
We're getting a taste of hell.
Yeah.
It's too hot, right?
Yeah, rehearsal for hellfire. Like I usually tell Louis Ajay, if you are sure you're going to hell after life, come and live in Texas in the summer. you will be prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
Please, everyone, you can see what Jay is wearing is the Nigerian national team jersey. That's the green and white, rich color of pride. The national team is playing on Sunday, so for whoever is interested, we are playing Mexico in California. So
that's true. In LA. Yeah. I was going to go for that, but plans changed. I was going to go. That's true. That's true. Watch it, everyone. Enjoy the Euros. Stay safe. Get vaccinated if you believe in that. If you don't believe in it, stay safe. And thanks for joining. Share, like, subscribe. We're out.
All right. Bye, guys.
Sancho.